Hello there, and welcome to the Good Morning Education Show. I know it's not morning, you might say direct. My name is Rotimi Atayo, bringing you the Good Morning Education Show, our weekend special. On weekends, we have the education show. By Saturday, it's 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., and of course, on Sundays, we have it at 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. And of course, we always have a great time on the show. Remember, the show it's Monday all through to Sunday, runs on Mondays through to Sunday. Mondays to Fridays, we have it 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., and it's always a great time. And of course, I'm sure you've heard us say it, and we'll continually say that it's always a great morning on the Good Morning Education Show. If you know someone that should be with us today at this point in time, tell someone to tell someone to tell someone that the Good Morning Education Show is live and you must be a part of it. We're going to be having a great time tonight. And I believe that without wasting much time, we'll be joined by our analyst who will join us tonight and we'll share some thoughts together and hopefully also we are able to take your questions and contributions. So if you join us for the first time, let us know. If you have questions, please do let us know. If you have contributions, do not hesitate to contribute. We welcome you. And if it's your first time, we would love to welcome you to the tribe. And the Good Morning Education Show, we would like to encourage you to subscribe to our channel to get notifications, to get details, and of course, to be a part of the show. And on the show, we always take headlines, we take news within and around the world of education. We talk about topical issues also about the world of education. Tonight, we will be talking about something that almost sounds like the title of a song or like the title of a rhyme. I'm sure you've heard he's got the whole world in your hands or in his hands, whatever it is. We have that most times, but today we're going to be talking about we've got the art world in our hands, and we're talking about a perspective focused topic which will be dwelling on our own realities within Nigeria and within Africa, because of course we know Africa is also seen as a continent of art, you know, so I believe we got the art world in our hands, and I'm sure you find out much about that. And of course, as we begin to talk about this, you might have questions in your mind that what is this about? Well, the art world is part of education. I believe the art world is something that we might not be seeing the value much around, but I can no, we can feel the value as much more than we can see um, the semblance of art around us. So art is everywhere. You know, this is kind of topic that I would have loved to have Ebenezer Odetola Israel, who is one who is an advocate of art integration within the education space, within the classroom. Is very, very, very particular about that. And I'd like to welcome at this point in time Fini Folu, and people is really, really, really racing towards the price, the price of the high calling. She wants to win the most punctual and consistent analyst on the show. In some cases, she's hosted the show. So let's hope because Santa is watching. Santa Claus is watching. So Finn, good luck.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. First of all, good morning, good day to our tribe members and all of our supporters from all over the world. And it's good to be on the show again today. It's good to be back on the show again today. And I look forward to a
Yes.
beautiful show today.
Yes, and I'm sure you can see we're already beaming with smiles. We have one of our loyal, secret, quiet tribe member who is always rooting for us. She's also one of the most punctual audience and follower, but she's always not saying her name. She's most times probably has commented maybe twice or thrice, but then she's decided to come out of hiding today. So let's welcome Omobola Olaribigbe. Thank you for joining us. And what a lovely profile picture.
Hello. Good evening.
Yes, and we're set for the day. I'm sure Finn is ready to get on the hot seat. That's why she's not showing her picture. I'm going to be firing questions that she doesn't think she has the slightest idea of, you know.
I'm born ready.
Are you sure?
Yes, 100%.
Okay. If you say you're born ready, we shall see. And you're lucky tonight that you have someone who is ready to take the burdens of the heat you might be facing. So let's welcome Dr. Olushola Olumide into the studios. Good evening, sir.
I guess that one is Sunday greetings. Good evening, Ochimi. Good evening, Finfolu. And good evening to our tribe members. And
Okay.
I hope it's going to be great tonight.
It's going to be great tonight. It feels like we're in a crusade or something. All right. So, and of course, one of our tribe members really has given feedback and sent in comments to Olushola Olumide's reviews and views on the show. In our tribe members' words, that is very humorous, but passes out the message. Passes on the message. Sorry, in a succinct manner. So that's a feedback to you, sir. From a loyal tribe member on the show. So they look forward
Thank you.
to your flavor.
Thank you. I think I'm grateful for that feedback. Thank you.
Yes. All right. So tonight we're speaking about a title. We got the art world in our hands, just like the normal popular song is got the whole world in his hands. But now we're talking about the art world, and I was starting with that statement that sometimes we might not see as much as we should see, but we can feel the value of art around us. All over us, around us is art. But I want to bring this question to you, right? Right. Do you think we value art education or arts education in this part of the world? If it's yes, substantiate with your reasons. If you say no, please give us some reasons why as well. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. I think the fact speaks. In this part of the world, I wouldn't want to agree that we value art. With the exception of recent development, where the infusion of art is being a sort of champion to be put into the curriculum, and the arts cut across different spheres of life. And a big thank you to somebody like Eben and the great thing he's doing, trying to open people's eye to the fact that art is not just about sitting down, drawing. By the time you listen to auction sales, art exhibition, and you see how much those paintings and drawing goes for, then you keep wondering, but this is great. And I think our exposure in this part of the world has really affected us. My submission this evening, I want people to go down memory lane, read the work of people like Michelangelo, how much they put into it, what it caused them to paint. Actually, when we are talking about art, I want us to see art as beyond just drawing. A good writer is an artist, because you must have crafted those things in your mind. Just like, of course, apart from the physical painting, drawing, adding colors together, bringing the picture of somebody to bear, or you are drawing nature, you are using whatever you are drawing to communicate deep information. And until we get to that point where you may not necessarily have volumes or books or paragraphs, just by mere painting or through sculpture, somebody looks through and feels, I can see through If you are standing in this area, you are seeing a different thing. When you turn to the back, you are seeing that different dimension, and it gives you meaning. When we don't have meaning to a particular concept, we hardly value it. So I will say in this part of the world, yes, we are coming up, but we don't really value art. And we see them as, what are they doing after all? Some of the people doing it, or maybe some are doing it as a part-time work, not fully. And it is also believed that for you to be in that space, you must be gifted, maybe from birth. So, but these days, we see people go to school, they mix ceramics together. Some of them even use tissue paper. Some of them use plastic, and they use it to carve out something. And I think the more of that we do, maybe the better. I think we need to improve. As at yet, we don't really value art in this part of the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really love the fact that you're able to open our eyes that art actually is something that is big across some divides. In fact, it's beyond a subject. You've been able to paint a picture that, and we should not limit art to just one dimension of expression. Maybe like people think art means painting. There are a lot of creative worlds and dimensions when it comes to art or arts. And I would like to bring that question to Folu. Looking at what is happening in society, and of course, following what Olushola Lumide said, I'd like to hear from Fin. Fin, do you think there is hope for art education in Nigeria?
Yes, I absolutely believe that there is hope for art education in Nigeria. And it's been, and I must also commend and say that, and say, yes, that the appreciation of the arts is on the increase within the country. In different parts of the country, we have seen people organize art exhibitions. We've seen hyper realism drawing taking up. It's beginning to get more significant. We're seeing more people investing in arts, the in paintings, in drawings, in graffiti, in molded sculptures, in all of the arts is not what it used to be before. I remember that when I was going to fill my JAMB form, because I'm a lover of not just of the arts, but of fine arts itself. And I used to draw a lot. I used to create a lot of artworks. And what I wanted to study in the university was fine arts. But at the time, the council was, look, how are you going to survive if you go major in fine arts? What are you going to do? This is not something that people appreciate. But I find that in recent times, we're even having in fashion designers are going to artists to create designs for them. Builders are going to artists to stock the buildings that they're building with their works. We're seeing arts feature in every sector now, and more people on the daily are getting more into appreciating and paying the fee and what it costs to have art pieces. So yes, I believe there's a future for art education. And we also realize that in schools now, well, I think that's because of greater exposure and appreciation. The children are also not intentional time is given to the arts, is given to fine art, is given to music, is given to them to express their aesthetic appreciation and beauty. So yes, there is hope. We will get to that point where we are having art on the center stage. That it's not going to be an afterthought or just, oh, we're doing you a favor. Just come and have your space. Thank you.
Thank
Not
you.
hearing
Thank
you.
you so much. Sorry about that. This really brings us to a practical aspect that I want us to dissect. And that's the power of language and the power of integration. I know that a lot of people have called for, well, not necessarily just called for, but a lot of people have made analogies that what if we had some of these subjects that we learn in school, what if we had them being taught in our languages? Is it possible that for some people, comprehension might be better? Some people have said yes. And I've heard a lot of call for art integration, as opposed to seeing art and relegating art to just a subject. I've heard, and for example, Ebenezer Odotola Israel is one who has camp integration, art integration should be in schools, where every subject, every topic should have an element of integrated art integration into the curriculum, art integration into the lessons, art integration into the teaching experience. So the world of the classroom comes alive. And like they normally say, that if the environment is the third teacher, then art can make it come much more alive and experiential. And I'm going to ask Olushola Olumide that question. What are your views on this subject matter, art integration within classrooms, art integration within our curriculum? Over to you, sir.
Thank you. I think we cannot overemphasize the fact that art should be integrated into the classroom. There is active learning, there is also passive learning. Entering into a classroom that communicates a creativity. No teacher, you just enter, and because there are drawings and paintings all around you, do you know that can catch the attention of the pupil and get him or her engaged? Why he's trying to figure out what is on the wall, why he or she is admiring the paintings. That child can actually learn without any instructor being there. Now, if the instructor is there, and I want to see art as increasing the focus of a learner. As an author, I don't know whether, and I want to believe it happens to a lot of people. Since I started writing, one of the things I have realized is that I became more sensitive to my surrounding everywhere I go, because I know what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, what is happening around me can drop ideas in my mind on the next thing to write. Unlike a casual cursory looker or passerby that didn't see any meaning in the event around him, I see event. That's why even if I'm in the midst of 100 people, no matter the noise they are making, when I'm reasoning and I'm ruminating on an idea, my thought will be louder than the voices of people around me. That happens to me as a person. And if you want to draw, paint, I think it demands higher level of concentration and focus. In mathematics, something happened to me was it 2016? I was in a session with a group of teenagers. As I was trying to make explanation to them, and I thought, what do I even use to help them? Oh, and I know that some of them don't like mathematics. Suddenly, I just look at an empty chair, a normal plastic chair, and it dawned on me that look at the angle of that chair. You can get an angle out of that. Then I went to the chair. I picked it up. I put it in front. I said, look at this. Look at this chair. This is angle what? Some of them initially didn't get what I was saying. But along the line, they were like, oh, this is an obtuse angle. Oh, some of them say, some will say angle 90. I said, if it's an angle 90, then the back of the chair will be straight. When you sit on it, it makes you uncomfortable. If it bends inner, that makes it worse. So if it is not straight, if it's not inward, it's outward, then it is angle beyond 90 degrees. And I told them, begin to find out the angle. And I say, an average plastic chair at an angle of 105. Those students were like, this is serious. They never saw it that way. If they have been taught right angle before, can you do Pythagoras theorem? Some of them have been finding it difficult because I brought something tangible and physical. Even their teacher who was in the class with me was wondering, how did this man bring this out? I said, see, even in the chair you are sitting down on, we can bring mathematics out. The same thing about art. When we infuse art into everything we do, I think it makes it more practical, tangible, that students can lay hold on, and it enhances their level of retaining what they have been taught. So it has to be done. What they see in conjunction with what they hear and what they are taught, I think will make the message lasting, longer, and more impactful on them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Finn, I don't know if you want to add to that before I ask my question.
Well, one thing that when it comes to art integration, one thing we really need to understand or to realize is that everywhere around us is art. And just like Mr. Olumide just said, that for people who are more tended towards the artists, we know all of us will not be science, math, art tended. Everybody picks which one they are more, or people are naturally more inclined to one than the other. But for people who are more art tended, you take note of those things that seem like nobody's taking note of. So if, for example, you look around you and you just see a puddle of water, every other person sees it as mess. You could see it as, oh, it's formed a shape. Oh, this looks like this and that and that. And when we allow children, or when we integrate art into our classrooms, it tasks the brain more than just the straightforward 1 + 1 is 2, 2 + 2 is 4. We're getting the kids to ask questions. We're getting them to develop their creative thinking, their critical thinking. They're looking at things and they're solving problems. So if we look at art beyond, well, what's the way art was presented when I was much younger and in school, was like they're just going to play. When it's fine art time, we're very happy because it's like you're going to the art room to just go and play. But in my primary school, we had a white woman as our art teacher, and for her, it was never play. So what was supposed to be an escape for us, like, oh, we're going to the art room to play, it became dreaded, because for us, it was more like, it was like going into a science class. She's going to take you through the theory, read out some stories, read out this, and we're just like, oh my goodness, all we wanted to come and do here is to just play, gist and talk and play. But eventually, well, I realized that there is more to this. There is more to the arts, helping even in understanding and assimilating other subjects than just being playtime and just whiling away time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Finn. And I think before I let you off the hook, I'm just going to ask you, I know that you are very big on behavioral management. You're always talking about the socialization and all those things. And of course, from one of the comments we have, we know that art now, from the things we've heard, is a tool. It's not just a subject. It's a tool. And as a tool, it can help students learn and socialize. Can you give us practical ways that this can actually, art education, how it can really help schools and students to learn and socialize? And I'm also going to give my own personal experience after. Yeah.
Yes, for learning, one of the things that arts education helps you with learning is, like I mentioned earlier, creative thinking. So you have a jumbled or something presented to you that just looks like a mass of nothing, maybe just a mass of colors or lines or curves, and just looks like, what exactly is this thing? One part of art education that I really, really love that helps with learning and thinking is where you have a picture that looks like an ordinary one, and then they ask you, how many faces can you see from this picture? It takes beyond just sitting down and saying, oh, it's a tree. Oh, no, it's nonsense. Oh, it's a car. then you begin to trace, you begin to look, you begin to take different perspectives. And what is learning? Learning is really helping the person taking in the lesson see perspectives. It's not about coming and just dictating notes and saying, this is it. Actual learning is presenting different perspectives. Look at it this way. What if it goes that way? What if you decide to do it another way? It doesn't always have to be all cut and dry. You don't always have to enter a room with your left leg first or your right leg first. You can decide to jump in with both feet. It's looking at different perspectives. And when the socializing part of it is, so you have typically you would have children interact when they're in the atrium. They're learning to borrow things from each other. They're learning to be polite. They're learning to share. They're learning to, oh, can I use this color? I don't have this color on my palette. Oh, I need this pencil. I need this eraser. They're learning to go around to ask for help. They're learning to be vulnerable. One thing that we don't really do very well, vulnerability. They're learning to say, oh, I need an HB pencil and there is none on my table or there is none in my pencil case. I can go to somebody else and ask them to let me use their HB pencil. They're learning to say please. They're learning to say thank you. They're learning how to share. They're learning how to take feedback. They're learning to say, what's my work like? Do you, or somebody else just comes and says, what's this that you did? It's not even fine. Or somebody else comes and says, oh, this is really spectacular. And they learn to take compliments. They learn to take feedback without throwing tantrums and being becoming very negative about it. So yes, if we continue to dig into how art education helps with learning and socializing, we probably will be winning on a lot more parents or maybe schools or teachers to say, oh, we really need to integrate arts into our learning system and culture in the classroom. Thank you.
Hello. Hello. Hello, if you can hear me. Finn, can you hear me? Network. Hello?
Can you hear me? Can you see
Yes, yes, I can hear you now.
me
Oh,
now? So
hello.
the question is, where are our museums? That's the question.
Yeah,
Where
yeah,
are
yes.
our museums?
Thank you. Well,
So
maybe the museums are still there as in a location, but talking about whether we have artwork, artifact, and what have you there is another thing. I know there is one in Agege in Lagos. I've not been there before, So I wouldn't know what it has. However, if there are works of art in there, I think they should be revived and publicized so that people can go there. Actually, if you go for an art exhibition that doesn't really impact on you, influence your thoughts, give you a sort of nostalgic feelings, you may not want to go back. So probably they may need to open them, let people come in free, accept what is there, engage artists to put their work there, publicize art exhibition. We have great artists in Nigeria. They may not be many, some in the education space. There are some who are not even in the education space, who are just doing their things. And some of the artwork are being showcased overseas. So we should bring them back. I think most of our museums have become a sort of monuments. We need to give them a new lease of life. So physically, they are there. But whether they are operational, that is what I doubt. I know there may be one or two in Lagos. I said there's one in Agege. I've not been there before. Then I wouldn't know whether there's any other one around. But what makes the museum, or what will really make the museum a place where people patronize or go to, will be the caliber and the quality of work in there. So I feel we should invite great artists to come around, showcase their work, do a sort of art exhibition, that at least to sensitize and invite people to come over. It will be shocking that there are a lot of people who are lovers of artwork. But if there is no place to convert like a museum where they can go, they just stay indoor, watch things online, especially with the issue of internet now. Somebody can connect with art exhibition either in the UK or in the US or in Australia. So they may not be there physically, but they will enjoy what goes on there. And some may even have to travel that far. So in order to revive our museum, they are there now as a location and a sort of monument. They need to be given a lease of life with great artworks, through art exhibitions, and for people to really be sensitized and come back to know that something is happening in our museums. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's very important for people to understand that there's a huge economy behind art, and art education is more or less like the foundation to make it mainstream. I would like to ask me a question, but before that, I'm going to ask Olushola again another question. Well, I will want that same question to be answered by Fee. So, can art and art education, right, be a booster for the teachers' economy, that teachers across the divide? Because thinking about the museum, thinking about so many things and the suggestions that you've been made, it's really a dead space that all these educators can leverage on, especially working hand in hand with government. Over to you, Finn. Finn, please unmute yourself. Okay, Olushola, you can answer that question.
Yes, my answer will be yes. It is what they can leverage on, especially for educators who are in the art space. And not only for them, for other teachers, especially when you are dealing with children, pupils in the primary section, in order to unleash their creativity, in order to better engage them, increase their focus and make them learn, and also for them to socialize better, just like he said. I think we can leverage, instead of having those properties there as monuments, educators can engage the government. Of course, the procedure, the paraphernalia, I wouldn't know how they want to go about that, but it is not out of place to engage and connect and collaborate with the government. Incidentally, if nobody is using those properties, they are even wasting away. So when we go there, it will serve as take for example, a place where we can gather and probably free or at a token instead of having to go and rent a particular or where you pay more. And one thing I know is this: when that thing is given a new lease of life and people begin to gravitate towards it, it becomes a serious economic booster. There will be, of course, a lot of value chains apart from the art educators coming there. It can open the door for somebody who is selling pure water. It can open the door to somebody selling art materials, somebody selling paints, others selling, I don't know whether they still use crayon in this time and age, pencil. And of course, anytime there is a sort of industry, it doesn't just, when you create an industry, like you have always said, it doesn't just stay on that particular thing. It brings some other sort of a line of business along the line. Some may now discover that, oh, I can be selling paint. Some feel, oh, I can be selling pencil. Some feel, oh, I can be selling cardboard. And they never thought about this before. And don't forget, an educator, apart from teaching, can begin to sell some of these things. And it will be extra money. So for me, I think it can help the quality of the income of educators. When we gravitate towards it, it gives us an opportunity to explore many things we have not thought about before now. And when we key into it, I think it leads to ventures and better a lot of educators. Thank you.
Very much, and I believe we have Finn back, and I'd like to ask Finn, how can we advocate arts infusion and education in the home for improving communication? Finn, very quickly, over to you. Finn, are you there? Finn. Hello, Finn. Are you there? Can you hear us? Okay. I guess we have a network issue with her. Olushola, do you want to bail her out on that question?
Yes.
Device is freezing.
Oh, great.
Okay,
She's
so
back.
Advocating infusion of arts into the home for education, and yes, I am. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Yes, I'm speaking. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, she's out. So Olushola, quickly.
Yes, I think the first point of call is for the parents to appreciate the work of art. Have you discovered that when you have a positive perception towards something, you can spend anything on that thing? Until parents sees art as something important, they may not be willing to invest in it. And we are born curious. And one of the key foundation for learning is curiosity. And I think art gives us that opportunity to be curious. So parents can be encouraged. We can open their eyes to see the benefits that lies therein. You will discover that when the home front imbibes it and children falls in love with it, I tell you, it serves as apart from learning, it gives opportunity for students to be for the children to be engaged. Many parents complain, my children, they will not even allow somebody to rest. Some will say, you know what I did? I told my son, oh yeah, go and sweep so that I will rest a little. Soon he is back and say, mommy, I finished sweeping. Oh, say, okay, I finished sweeping. Oh yeah, go and wash. Because they are restless, they have the energy, and the parent wants to enjoy their own, angle, and say, what do I do to this boy? Let me send him on errand. And before you know it, they are done. Imagine if you get your child interested in art. I'm telling you, it will guarantee your own peace. Peace in quote now. You have bought some toys or something for the child to draw and this and that, and you have outlined what the child is waiting for weekend where he can draw, where he can, cut and do this thing. The next 3 hours, the boy is still engaged. He shall want to impress mommy, want to show you great thing he has done. For those 3 hours, whatever you want to do, you can sit down and be doing it. It will be a win-win situation. He's engaged, you are engaged. There will be peace of mind. So instead of having to clamp down our children and force them to sleep by force, if I see your highboard in that place, I will show you pepper. Don't do that again. Let's encourage parents to see the importance of art, and the same passed on to the children. The children will be learning over the weekend. Something is engaging them. And when a child is passionate about something, that child may not even remember to eat. Meanwhile, it affects the thinking capability of that child. When people think, I sort of reason it out. You are given a thought line, then somebody says, I never saw it that way. Oh, you are making sense. That your thought line was born out of creativity. And I think when we infuse the art in our homes, when we imbibe it, it opens the eye of the mind of the children. There are things beyond the surface they will see, and they bring it up. And it will surely affect their mind and affect their brain. So I think we need to encourage the parent first to appreciate the work of art. They can also be an ambassador to champion the same to their children and to their circle of influence. Thank you.
Thank you very much. From all that we've listened to today, even if there are people who still debate the academic advantage or advantages of art, I think that beyond the academics, the other elements you've mentioned actually brings an advantage, and which not just helps the child to concentrate or better still get to know themselves, but it also gives the child a competitive edge. And it also adds to quality of life. You see, sometimes it looks like when we want to have fun, when we want to have a leisure time, or build hobbies, it seems like our options are limited. But then with art education, the options becomes bigger and wider. And as we bring this to a close, this just tells me that there's a need for us to have like some measure of strategic consultation and stakeholders engagement to be able to empower people within the education space using the instrumentality of art. We've got the world of art. We've got the art world in our hands. And I'm telling you, this is one of the tickets, the meal tickets, the jackpot ticket, as it were, not necessarily to relocate, but that educators might just have. It might just be our joker if we begin to think through creative means, deliberate ways, and clarity that that kind of brings out the dynamics of each particular location we might find ourselves. Art is a big deal in most countries. I've visited museums, I've visited some of these places, and if you notice, it's not just a place. It's not just a place. How do I put it? There's an automated system engineering the place to be functional. There's admin staff, there are tour guides, there are people who have history, there are people who tell history. Come on. and they are ready to receive people in and out. And this is something the government should be thinking about. Very well. So I'll just say this. Faye, give us your parting shots on the show today, and then I'll come back to Olusola Olumide. Your final words and parting shots, Faye.
Thank you. Network has been very unkind to me today, but I would say that in as we close that, we need to look at art beyond the beyond sand play, beyond children playing with mud and tearing paper and littering the house, beyond, oh, it's a waste of time. What does it add to you? If we look in deeper, there are skills that we get from art that many subjects or we don't consciously pay attention to. So you have that child that is impatient, put them on an art project and see them learn patience. You have that child that is not very, that doesn't really pay attention to details, put them on an art project and see them begin to pay attention to details. You have that child that really doesn't bother about how they do things. They just them just place this there or place that there, and you have there are many skills that we can learn from art, and I would say and encourage parents that beyond we need to have a mindset reorientation so that beyond what we grew up knowing, beyond how we grew up viewing the arts, let's now at this stage of our lives take a step back and consider what are the benefits that art holds for us as families, as individuals, as children in their learning process, and then maybe our attitude might just change towards it, and the appreciation of the arts and for art education will just catch on. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Olusola Olumide, would you like to give us your closing remarks and parting shot?
Yes. My parting shot will be something that dropped in my mind now. And I want to give it as a takeaway for everybody to ruminate upon. I just thought of it, how important drawing is. Do you know that even medical doctors need to understand drawings before they function? I try to imagine, what is the scanning machine doing? Is it not drawing? If you misinterpret that drawing, the prescription will be wrong. Somebody wants to the human anatomy, the imaging with all the gadget we have now. The first thing the machine does is to give you a clear picture of the nervous system. That tells you visual is very, very important. Drawing is key. Doctor may not see themselves as working in the art, but they work so much with drawings. It's there, there is a fracture here. This place is okay. Oh, this place, there is a thin line, there is a thick line. That means those things resonate with them and it gives meaning. So art is life. Whichever way we look at it, whether you are in the sciences, whether you are in the business, whether you are in the core art, all of us in life, we have one thing or the other to do with drawings. What it portends to us, the way we interpret it, goes on to determine decisions we make. So drawing is part of life, and there's nothing we can do about it. The earlier we embrace it as it affects our profession, I think the better for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It's been a great time on the show today. As always, you said that we hope to have a great time, and I believe that we had a great time. I had a great time of learning, and I am going to ensure that in the coming days, there are a few things that will begin to engage people on. So many things that we can do to engage so many people, and I'll be always starting with the Good Morning Education crew. We'll drive that path. We'll open the vista for people to begin to get into the possibilities thereafter. Thank you so much, Finn Folufalodun. Thank you, Internet. Thank you, Lushola Olumide. Thank you to all the people who joined. Thank you, Omovola Olari Big Bay. Thank you for joining. Thank you to all our tribe members. If you've not subscribed to our channel, please do so before the end, or probably do so after the end. And then if you're watching the replay, please share the videos. Tell someone about the Good Morning Education Show. We will be back tomorrow as we start a new week. And on Monday, we have something exciting to you, but we will be there 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And remember, remember, the spelling bee competition, the Team Masters National Spelling Bee is already taking place with registration going on. And you have opportunity to register your children, register your school, register as a parent, register as a school, and be a part of this amazing, amazing competition. We're having over 21 states being a part of this time around, and we believe that before you know it, we'll be having much, much more than that. And of course, if you would like to be a part of it, register now. Details will be shared, of course, as you follow us online. And as we bring this to a close, the analysts are having fun already because they're ready and geared up for the week. But we will not leave without saying one of the favorite words that we have on the show, which is Finn's national anthem. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, at the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. It's
It's
always
always a great morning
I
on a
know.
Good Morning Education Show.
have a good evening.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.